Rip to a real one. Looks like Bossman's probably gonna go into prison for like a year and a half. From the looks of it, that's what it looks like, unfortunately. Sucks. God, sucks. But, one silver lining is Bossman's gonna have lots of commissary. It'll be good for him. It'll be good for his brain. And when he comes back, people will still want to see him, and he could parlay that into a real entertainment career instead of this like addiction trauma roller coaster that a lot of people enjoy seeing. But at the end of the day, a lot of people just want to see him buy the Civic and be happy and be successful. I mean, ultimately it would detract from a good 50% of what's there, but at the end of the day, that's the hero's journey, and we all love to see it, don't we, folks? We love to see it. But we don't love to see Bossman go into jail, so, keep your head up, Bossman. I'm gonna be praying for you, man. See you on the other side, bro. Rats, man. Damn, ratatouille rats, man. Let me just pull up my notes here. I had a power outage. This just in, Jair Bolsonaro on trial in Brazil for attempted coup. Will he end up in CCOT? Or will him spontaneously contracting dengue fever, trench foot, and a bout of shingles win him the sympathy he needs to slide? Hassan Piker fingered as a dastardly devilish ne'er-do-well and greasy grimy gamer grump by the ADL. Trump set to receive a $1.2 billion hydrogen-powered mega yacht from Denmark to keep his mitts off of Greenland. What will happen next, folks? Find out tomorrow. I had a dream last night where Null interviewed me over Skype, and we had a good time, and we laughed a lot, and it was all good, and I left the conversation feeling a lot better afterwards. Interesting. It was a very interesting dream, like a bunch of dreams, a set of dreams. And I slept for a long time, and I dreamt a lot of different things, and it was very surreal. It was a very deep level of dreaming. The silliest part of all of this interaction with me and the Kiwi Farms and Null is that I'm giving him advice that would help him achieve the goal that he wants above anything else, which is getting a beautiful European descendant wife. White women, especially those that remember the culture they came from before America denigrated or degraded itself into twerk-offs and stuff like that, are nice. They like sweet things, sweet smells, beautiful colors, the soft things in life like lace and cheese. Most women do. It's not just European women. Most women do. The issue is balance. Romance without sustainability is a fling, like a tall European man. Sustainability without romance is the sort of situation that leads to either divorce or, arguably worse, Ricada-style swinger parties. Ugh. You need both romance and sustainability. Most American women are satisfied with a roof over their head. Some want to fix their car, whether it's a mechanic that can be paid or the guy themselves, and just enough money left over for beauty products, just here and there. The spice that they really like to add to their food, beauty products, stuff like that. The rest of life is very simple. Although these days, especially after like 2023, 2024, one has to like also put like the ability to afford food on that list. Unfortunately, that's something that Americans haven't had to worry about for a long time, but it seems to be something that's creeping in. Eggs are back down to the normal price though, but still paying $300 at the grocery store because they crept in a bunch of other prices at the meanwhile. But at least, eggs are literally down like $20 for like a large pack, if it's that bad. So balance. Women will that's it. That's all they really want. But if you're not kind and you have money, you're just some gross sugar daddy. Women will literally sleep with beach bums if they have good vibes and their needs are already met. As a bonus qualifier, which isn't always a necessity, which most can afford to on their own these days. Now, it isn't women's liberation that caused this, it's the automobile. It's the fact that our infrastructure is dependent on machines that either sex can operate equally. That is the exact reason why things are as they are. I've never been one to necessarily argue against that. I just think that women should also be taught to value things like child rearing and home ec, essentially, which is something that just up until like 10, 15 years ago was normal and reasonable to expect. Like, guys can also join the course if they want to be a nice house husband or, whatever. But it's definitely not something that our society and humanity in general has observed that women have been better off for abandoning. No, they're actually significantly worse off for abandoning. All the things that they value is aligned with being able to maintain their health, and naturally that's basically everybody. And the foundation of your health, which is the foundation of everything else, is what you eat. And so cooking is necessary, otherwise you're just going to be stuck with a whole bunch of really, really unhealthy food out there. So and yeah, they'll literally sleep with beach bums if their vibes are good. It's crazy. Like, we all know this. We've heard of cases of this lots and lots of times. I was that one time. You need to be kind. You need to be kind. That's all. It really, really helps. It really, 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 really helps to be kind. To be kind, to be natural. Let it go. Let your bad anxiety go. And just go with the flow. Like, literally, that works on women more than anything else in life, is to go with the flow. You don't do go with the flow advice in engineering or around, heavy machinery. You don't go with the flow, even though actually kind of necessary for determining when's the best time to not tip over, when's the best time to exert the most amount of force, et cetera, et cetera. Really, like, completely put yourself in the flow state when you're with women and kind of shut off your brain and just be like a dog. No, you can do that, man. We all know that you're capable of that. And maybe one day, like 20, 30 years down the line, when society is a little different, we can all see your happy, loving family, and one that you achieved by working hard instead of having it, just plop in your lap like incels expect. Although that is kind of training at the end of the day. We all see, if we've spent enough time online, how, like, 4chan and stuff like that, mostly run by Israelis and their bot networks, do push a narrative of inceldom and general misogyny, and they probably push misandry to women as well on their various websites. That's probably a thing too that we just don't see as guys. Italy isn't real. Italy isn't real. It's actually not. It's Genoa, Montferrat, Turin, Savoy. Even Corsica, which was owned by Lucca to the east, or better known as the nation of Sardinia-Piedmont. It owned both those islands before France snatched up Corsica because Napoleon, which was at the end of the day, Napoleon was a Luccanese, or was he Genoese? I think he was Luccanese. Because there was a time when Sardinia was owned by Aragon, which owned part of Spain and holdings in southern Italy. Regardless, I'm getting off point. The point is, you also have, Sardinia-Piedmont, to put an extra note on that, ended up being the nation that unified Italian nation states around. Then you got Milan, Florence, Lucca, Pisa, and Bologna, or the state of Tuscany. Then you got Perugia, Venetia, Verona, Ferrara, Mantua, or the Republic of La Serenissima, otherwise known as Slovenia these days. I have no idea where that country popped up. No idea. Venice is still technically part of Italy, and then there's Venetia, which has actually, like, Austrian, territories, which Austria, big loser in the First World War, and ultimately didn't fare very well in the Second World War, was very slow to start, and, come to the aid of their allies, and that ultimately did actually play into losing Germany the war, as Austria's feet dragging. You got Perugia, Rome, Ancona, Latina, or the Papal States, which is in a band going diagonally, and the nation-state of Naples and the nation-state of Sicily. And there are dialects of Italian unintelligible to a village 100 miles over in the same country. And a lot of our modern countries are very big projects. Big projects meant to educate large groups of people in a certain way, and that can either work out very well or very, very bad. It's very, very hard to find a balance with that much power that you stack up, but if you do it, you end up having a very, very successful country. Very simple. You know, I actually figured this out when I was much younger. Since my parents are decent, wholesome people, I was raised on Nintendo. Zombie games were always meant to make you more comfortable with shooting a human form by distorting it enough and classifying them as dead and enemies. It allows you to, without second thought, pull the trigger on something with a human body and somewhat human face. And World War Z, funny enough, was the most honest zombie movie by making all the zombies black people and making the main character white, without distorting their features much. That perfectly primed people to become extremely reactionary when the planned BLM riots were coordinated by various police departments and in-network NGOs. But Americans are mostly nice, so there wasn't a lot of bodies in the street. We just sold those guys enormous trucks so that they could visualize themselves ramming into these hordes of people. And it's funny, not a lot of zombie movies coming out these days. Notice that? I mean, a lot of Hollywood is on their heels, which is one of the reasons why it's like, yes, this is the time to notice things. This is the time to speak on it. This is the moment to finger the collapsing, pseudo empire, crypto empire of Zionism. It's the time to point it out. And World War Zionism is ongoing right now. Right now. It's happening right now. World War III? Maybe. World War IV? Hands on the floor. It's World War Z, World War Zionism. What's going on right now? Oh, and if anybody starts whining about the 2 Israeli diplomats who were shot, those are 2 representatives of the state of Israel, and this is an inevitability. It is a tragedy. These were good people, but ultimately it is par for the course. You want to know how you stop the violence? You stop the killing. I don't know how you stop people like this from getting the fire in their bellies in order to go and shoot 2 innocent people. You stop the war that's killing tons and tons of innocent people. It's that simple. People who can't say that are coming at it with bad faith. But there is, you could just say, wow, that sucks, man, and not entertain the conversation. There is literally nothing these freaks can do that they haven't already been doing for the last year. The attempt to turn these 2 into hero martyrs isn't something you have to worry about. You're just seeing a tiny glimpse into the echo chamber Zionists live in, where their lives are worth a tremendous amount. And they will literally go about killing 144 people or whatever. Like 70, what's a 77 times 2? Like 154, right? Yeah, it's 154. They're gonna go kill 154 numbered Palestinians now. Probably like 77 men, 77 women. Pretty sure these people were set to be married. They might try to kill unwedded couples, something like that. I don't know, that's just the mentality these people have had for like thousands of years, apparently. And it's not something that you have to worry about because everybody's noticing this. And unless these highly parasitic people, the Zionists, the Israelis, and the Theosophists that have created the Zionist movement 120 years ago, are given a host body, they will wither and die like a parasite left out in the cold. So you don't have to worry about going in and cutting up parts of your body and trying to pull things out. You just have to worry about getting your health right? And then focus on the long term, and that will eventually flush things out. Americans get shot in the street every day. Well, I'm saying this, 2 Palestinian men were probably murdered by the IDF, and maybe even a child, and possibly even a woman. Henry Kissinger isn't inherently worth more than Qasem Soleimani, nor how much hot air they breathe into the political scene. Turn away from their gnashing of teeth and wailing. It's not your horse, it's not your farm. You know what's weird as hell? I see a lot of people from like Vietnam re-uploading clips of Matt Christman. I don't know why that is. You know, one thing Chapo Trap House has asserted this fact that they got dead wrong, which is quite a few things actually, but they're interesting and funny. One thing they got dead wrong is the notion that America runs on treats. This is only true in a certain subsection of the fast-shrinking middle class. Recently, and mostly for more liberal Americans, this is applicable. But in general, no. I've seen what America runs on. It's clear as day. America runs on Dunkin'. Nah, just kidding. They got bought by private equity. Funny, enough because they call themselves donkeys up in the infantilized Northeast. A little donkey wonky tweety tweet on your way to the subway while watching Sandom Sandler on your phone, on your iPhone. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nah, that's them. What America runs on is aggrievement. America is the most Protestant country in the world. It's in our blood to protest British tyranny and anything that resembles it. But aggrievement is our cultural currency. In the 90s, it's clear, but it's also pretty clear that the 70s was, too. Hippies aggrieved at Nixon, the middle class aggrieved at hippies. It's just in the 90s, everybody was aggrieved at everybody. And the power structure in the 70s to the 80s, even in the 90s, aggrieved at communism and then later Islam. Agreement about the Lusitania and Pearl Harbor. Aggrievement at slavery, aggrievement at abolition, all the way back to aggrievement at loyalists and Britain, and for rebels. All the entire way. The currency of America is the very friction that people are so afraid of when they regard our country, and what makes such strong men and women. You know, I lived and breathed Russell Brand in 2022, so I might be biased, but I genuinely believe he's innocent. Like I said this before, I said this like a year ago or so. Why would anybody that attractive, conventionally attractive, need to do stuff like that? And first and foremost, like, oral rape? Are you joking? So he just, like, jumped up and get out of here. Come on, get the hell out of here. Don't you slap me with that. Yeah, he had a gun in his hand. Yeah, Russell Brand had a gun in his hand. Yeah, right. None of that's probably real. And it reminds me of what they did to Julian Assange with the whole Sweden thing. They got like a Swedish girl to say that Julian Assange molested her while he was on a diplomatic or a visit to Sweden. And that really tied him up for a while, but come to find out, that's a nothing burger. So gotta look out for that level of mudslinging and high levels of politics, because Russell was really, really going after people like Bill Gates and Hillary Clinton and Obama. He was going after him hard. And these people, these exact people, they thrive, the ecosystem that they live in, and the exact, locust swarm that they can summon forth. Go, my soul! Is that of cancel culture and, the political aggrievement that is very alive and well inside of the Democratic Party. So he risked a lot, and that's one of the many, many reasons why I think people on the right, people on Kiwi Farms that were tearing into him for supporting Obama originally, which he's definitely made up for after I've seen, should really try to give him a shot, Like, why not? Everybody deserves a second chance. And that is legitimately a chapter of his life that was like so out of control that he was on massive amounts of drugs. And it's just like Bossman. Everybody deserves a second chance. If Bossman gets out, gets clean, we want to see Bossman doing live streams and stuff. We want Bossman to be like Sam Hyde. Like, he doesn't need to do this crazy, like, destructive gambling anymore. He really doesn't. And it'd be really, really great if he could actually get off of that. And just be a regular streamer. We'd all love to see it. We'd all be around. We'd all follow him. We'd all love it. Let's hope that he, has a mind for that, has a focus for that, because it's focus. That's the thing about Bossman. He's got dedication, he's got heart, but his focus, just like lots of millennials, it is very shaky. Very shaky. That was to the best of us. Thereby, for the grace of God, go I. Israel will be remembered for a very long time for what they've done in the last year, and I firmly believe it will unmake a lot of the spiderweb Zionism has become tangled in after zealously weaving for centuries and hastily spitting them out in the last 4 decades. Like 5 centuries, 4 or 5 centuries. I can see this proto-Zionist, network being built, and it is tumbled and crashed and broken bones in the last, really the last, like, one could say 10 years since 2014. That's when a lot of people, myself included, including this person that shot those 2 Israelis, started to pay attention. One could say that actually 10 years ago was when the the speed started to rapidly increase. That's ultimately when I'm bookmarking that. But the last 4 decades is when things have started to ramp up to this point that we're in right now. And not only do they kill innocent women and children, men too, but they kill innocent women and children. They actively molest them while they're doing it. They have military helicopters flying low over these camps that they've shoved them into, probably in the middle of the night. They have drones playing screams and baby wails flying around civilian zones while shooting children in the head with quadcopters. Everybody sees it. No amount of little JIDF lies is going to cover up all the physical evidence. You know how people say Pixar didn't happen? Your little lies, JIDF. Pixar didn't happen. They got pics. They're not Photoshop. We checked the metadata. You're shooting children. You're destroying hospitals. You're killing innocent people. And you're saying Hamas is this, Hamas is that, Hamas is this, Hamas is that. Everybody is a terrorist. Everybody I don't like is literally Hitler. I wonder where the leftists get it from. I've seen a couple people come around, Not everybody is laughing at the 78-day blockade and mocking those reporting on it. A lot of Jewish women find this horrifically revolting. But there is no such thing as matriarchal Zionism. You do not see it in the records. Just like the Black Illuminati, it is a mirage. It's LARPing, essentially. It's LARPing meant to align some form of consent to an unruly subset of a population that is entirely controlled. It's never existed. Sorry, Madame Blavatsky. It's really not. And just go and look at Madame Blavatsky's Wikipedia page, and then if you can find more about her, but look at her Wikipedia page, read it in. It is so important to understand exactly how this woman was a hinge point in all of modern history. All of modernism, all of postmodernism hinges on Madame Blavatsky and the Church of Theosophy, and how she was treated, how she was tormented and tortured and exiled and humiliated by her own people. That is the reward. That is the culture of Freemasonry, essentially, because that's the things that she was essentially learning from and writing down this code book for the creation of things like UFO cults and, Freudism and stuff like that. Blavatsky was integral to all of this. And Blavatsky was integral to influencing Guido von List, who influenced and basically helped create Aryan philosophy, Aryanism, which is anthroposophy, which is a root down in the evolutionary path of theosophy. And yeah, it's very important. It's incredibly important. Maybe the real Hyperborea was the friends we made along the way. In reality, it's the lost European ecosystems that you can still find in little pockets of the Carpathian Mountains, the Alps, northeast Poland, Scandinavia, rural Scandinavia. That's actual Hyperborea. That's actually what we remember, I don't know, epigenetical blood memory, I don't know. Probably stories, stories of our ancestors. That's where Lovecraft got a lot of his inspiration for his works, is badly translated Celtic and German mythology and all that stuff. You got Conan, you see a lot of Hyperborean. Hyperborea is in Conan. So, and Conan was influenced directly. It's in like the direct evolutionary line. It's like a continuation of Lovecraft. Essentially, is Howard Conan and all the other stuff that he did. He did a bunch of stuff. Very good writing too. He's not horrifically racist. He's way less racist than Lovecraft, but Lovecraft isn't as racist as people pretend that he is. He's I think Lovecraft actually was very aware of what he was doing, and he used a lot of like little cheat codes in his writing to like inspire, fear in place of better descriptors. Smart man, smart man. Here's the thing. You can be a piece of garbage day in, day out, and not spare a second thought for those you hurt. But the people getting hurt remember it for a long while, even if you don't remember it for a day. And that builds and it builds. Best believe that builds. Talking about needing to break a few eggs to make an omelet in war and then screaming bloody murder when 2 people get shot. It's the exact same tactic people have gotten sick of in the culture war. Through the mainstream media. 70% of the country, probably 90% of the world, hates you. Only about 3/4 of those are peaceful. You gotta feel sorry for the good Jews that warned them, whether their thoughts were altruistic or pragmatic or sheerly self-interested. They warned them, and the Licudists, the Shabatists, the Zionists did not listen. Maybe you could call them neo-Zionists. Who knows? Who cares? Who cares what terms we use? We all feel right and wrong in our hearts. That's why all these lies, all these words, they're just sand. They don't mean anything. They carry no weight. It's like Dogecoin. No market cap. Doesn't matter. There's no value there. Christian's comic books. That's value, man. That's value. Because you feel it in your heart. I will never forget how Zionists ruined Kiwi farms. Hopefully just temporarily. By employing the same shifty-ass tactic employed for a millennia. Bribing leadership to cut a slice out of an area while denigrating the native culture. At least it's only a website, so they likely won't be able to rape anybody's children this time. You want to know why Ireland is so hated by Zionists? I've always wondered why they hate redheaded people, why they view Ireland as an enemy. Recently, things have come into clearer view. It isn't just because we, buck the Zionist narrative. This goes back to ancient times when High King Torlabach O'Brien was visited by an envoy of Jews that had snuggled up to the King of Norway with gifts. He rejected those gifts and exiled them. This is why Ireland was the center of Christian theology in the early medieval era. It was a safe zone. Until their geographic position left them isolated behind a bulwark of subversion in perfidious Albion. And they were abused by 800 years by these evil fucking creeps. You freaks better have your Samson option ready, because the internet has shined a big light on that hovel of yours, and we see you for what you truly are. Baby rapers! Alright, y'all. Cheers.